Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to address you today about the current situation of Covid-19 or the coronavirus. As you know, this has affected almost every country in the world, and Uganda is no exception. Fortunately, so far in Africa, probably because of our natural immune system and resistance and environment, we have not been devastated. However, this is not a time for compliance. This is a time to see what is good and what is bad so that we avoid going down the paths of some of our brothers and sisters in the other parts of the world who have suffered immensely. I'll try to be brief. I understand that there is a lot of suffering, and I'll address this first before I go on to the actual virus. I know many people are going hungry. It is very sad. And this is particularly due to the lack of planning. It's not poor planning, it's lack of planning of the current government. And of course, secondly, to the inequality that is abundant in the country, where the people in Mbarara can get rice and people in Gayaza can get rotten beans and stones. This is totally unacceptable, and I'll be speaking about this later on. To compound the problem, the government has stopped individual help to the community. But one wonders how much of the collected items and funds channeled to the Prime Minister's office have actually trickled down to the people that need them. And that is a big question. Whereas individual help has been stopped. This, of course, blocks people like me to help. There are many things that could be done. We can mobilize food, we can mobilize funds, we can mobilize test kits for the country. But the government wants all this to go through the Prime Minister's office, whose performance and accountability so far is dismal and at times very shameful. But I'll have a time to address this later on. With regard to the actual virus, fellow Ugandans, even though this is a very difficult time, it's not a time to give up. It's not a time to despair. It's a time to fight back. It's a time to be ingenious. It's a time to be creative so that we can survive. Our fathers and our grandfathers were very clean and hygienic people. The so-called modern system has broken that down because you think you can use forks and napkins, and you forget the basics of washing your hands. I don't have any kind words for this. We should go back to your original customs. You should not eat without your washing your hands. This is common sense. 2, don't cough and spit in public. It's unsocial. It's unhygienic. Cover your mouth. So some of the things that have been brought up now, and you say, oh, the WHO does not have to teach you to cover your mouth and not to spit all over the place. We should go back to basics, and you'll be able to fight with whatever we have. Exercise. Many people are complaining they cannot exercise because the gyms are closed, because there is a curfew. This is not a good excuse. You can exercise in your home. You can exercise in your village. You can exercise in your compound. You can exercise in your garden. In fact, there's nothing better than getting that old-fashioned hoe, whom you think that if I get a hoe, oh, I'm behind, I'm not civilized. No! Get a hoe, dig. Go to the garden and dig. You get three things from this. You'll be able to do proper exercise because when you dig, you're using every part of your body. 2, you're going to get food, which you eat, and if you have leftover, you can even get some money. And 3, Uganda being a tropical country, you're going to be exposed to the sun. And you need the sun, a minimum of 30 minutes every day, if your immune system is going to fight this virus. As for covering your mouth and nose with masks, this is wishful thinking in a country like Uganda. The government will not give you these masks, and even if they did, it would be suspicious whether they are real or they've been poisoned for some people. And even if you have money, this is not something you're going to use for months. You use it every second day. But we can get around this. Everybody has got a piece of cloth. I want you to take a piece of cloth. I want you to fold this in 2 or 3 and then cover your mouth and cover your nose. Just get that old piece of cotton cloth, wash it properly, fold it and cover your nose and mouth. You have a mask there, and you can always wash this at night and use it the next day if you got on one piece of cloth. And for the ladies, you can use the piece of cloth you use for your hair to cover your hair. Use this to cover your nose, to cover your mouth. You've got a mask, and it works very well. If you take that with the common sense items of cleaning hands, common sense item of not coughing in public, common sense items of keeping a bit of a distance from a sick person who is coughing away, common sense items of not spitting, you'll be a long way in fighting this virus. And all this is common sense. Don't wait for the government because it won't do it for you anyway. Now, I would like to speak as a professional to some of these people who either are sick or feel they are getting sick, or those who just want to prevent. What do we do at this time? Officially, there's nothing that you can do to prevent it from a medical point of view, apart from the common general measures that I've given you. There is no magic drug. There is no magic tablet. But there are a lot of things that you can do that have shown that they increase your resistance, your fighting power. I've talked about the sun. I've talked about exercise. I've talked about the social measures of general hygiene and good behavior. Now I'm going to talk about the food. If you eat good food, and here I mean good food, we have tropical food in Uganda, eat the matoke, eat lumonde, eat muogo, eat beans. And of course, if you can afford, or if you've got, eat some chicken and meat and beef. But if you don't, you still have groundnuts, you have beans, you have peas. All these are going to give you the protein you need. And plenty of fruit. Don't think the fruit is just for the kids. Even adults, you should have at least 2-3 pieces of fruit per day. This is going to help you fight back. Stop crying for the chips and the tomato sauce. This is a disaster. Absolute disaster. You think you're civilized by eating chips and tomato sauce. No. This is killing you. It's unhealthy. Go back to the healthy, raw food, fresh, and you have your fighting power back. Things like tomato, things like oranges, things like jackfruit or fennel, mangoes, lemon, oranges, make this part of your daily routine to have something. And for many of you, try to take a cup of water every day with a bit of lemon in it. You can put a bit of ginger, you can put a bit of honey. You should have at least 1 cup a day with a bit of lemon, bit of ginger, bit of lemon. This is very good for your immunity, fighting power, particularly at this particular point in time. Now, our great-grandfathers used to use smoking, not smoking of a pipe, but using steaming to steam, not smoke, but steaming. It's the smoke that comes out of that steam that you need. So get a lot of ingredients, including mango leaves, onion. You can put in ginger. You can put in orange leaves, and a few other things, which I'll detail in another broadcast. Don't forget ginger. Don't forget lemon. Don't forget oranges. Steam this. And you can use the bark tree that they used to use to steam the kids when they were sick. All of you know which bark trees to use. Create the steam in a hot pot after boiling. Cover yourself with a blanket for 10, 15, 20 minutes, as long as you can hold it. This varies individually, but take it to your maximum. You'll be sweating. Your nose will be dripping, but this is good. If you do this 2-3 times a week, you'll be fighting back against this virus. And if you're sick, many people will get better. Now, in that concoction, of course, don't forget to put in salt. Now, this is the sea salt, not the refined white salt. In Uganda, omunyo gwekisula. This is the raw salt. This is what you should use. And for those who are able, you can put in a little bit of pepper. Now, I have to be very careful here, because for some people, the pepper will make you choke. So please don't do it lightly. Try a little bit. If you can stand it, yes. If not, don't worry about it. Don't use it. Maybe just put it in your normal food and eat it as part of your diet. All these are going to help you build your immunity. All these are going to help you fight back. I'm going to stop here because of time. And I'll be doing another broadcast to go into detail on some of the medical aspects and what we need to do, and also address some of the social, political, and civil issues that the government should be addressing at this particular point in time. For God and my country.